you know, but it's just unbelievable. And then we have terrible rains at night, thunderstorms, and we can't go visit our people because the virus is just starting to spread like nuts here. I've never like witnessed anything like that, you know? Crazy, really crazy. But can you guys go out now and do like stuff now, or what's the story? Can you go to church? That's the question. I want to go to church.
Our churches are opened. So we have daily mass, but we can have up to 50 people in the churches. And then for weekend masses, we can have up to 1/3 capacity of our church building. So, but all of those masses have stayed the same. You know, they're having the same amount of masses, and so.
Oh, wow. Yeah. We have mass on our place in here. Our priest comes Saturday for the Sunday mass. At least we're having Sunday liturgy. We have a communion service every day, which is crazy because we're a Eucharistic community and we're like, can't go to mass every day. Like, who would ever think that, you know? Like, unbelievable. Unbelievable. But thank God we have him but we have it in our activity center. And so we spread out, you know, we sit like, there's 5 of us. We have a young man that lives on the property and a young woman lives on the property. They're Haitian. And then 3 nuns, 3 of us. And we're supposed to get another sister in August, but I don't know what's going to happen with that. If that's going to, you know, if she'll get here, because she's coming from Poland. So God knows if they can get out, you know? But now and then we've been watching the news about the other stuff. You got a lot of protesting going on.
Oh, it's crazy. It's just crazy.
A lot. Oh my goodness. I can't believe it. You go from pandemic to protesting. I mean, like, I was shocked. But you want to know what? That's what it's like here. The people protest against the poverty, against no work, no food, no schools, teachers not paid, hospitals are closed. They protest, it ends in violence, somebody gets shot. I don't know who has guns because people can't afford anything here, you know? Yeah. So, you know, it's just really, really strange. So where am I actually calling right now? Where am I calling? Don't tell me India. One time I called the number and she said, I'm calling India. Where am I calling?
You're calling St. Mary's, right?
It's in New Jersey. So we're in New Jersey.
Barnegat?
Yeah, Barnegat, New Jersey.
Barnegat. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Barnegat.
I mean, we're kind of all scattered in different parts of New Jersey.
Uh-huh. Oh, I know. Colleen, where do you live? Where do you live?
I'm in New Jersey. I'm in Howell, New Jersey.
Same place?
Yeah.
Oh, Howell. Okay. Yeah. And you're still flitting around doing all that kind of stuff, huh?
Yeah,
preaching the word.
Jesus on people, yeah.
Yeah,
I always
that's
see
great.
Monsignor Curry. Every time I see Monsignor Curry, we talk about you.
Oh, God bless him. Yeah, he was a great guy. Yeah, I can't believe it's been going on 8 years I've been here. I can't believe it's been that long.
It's gone so fast.
It really does. And even us being here right now inside, stuck inside like this, like the kids can't come. Our clinic is working, but the kids can come here because their conditions they live in, and they live with like maybe 12 people in a little shack. Yeah. And this virus is like passing on like very quickly. And, you know, I have allergy asthma and the other on rheumatoid arthritis. So they have to be very careful. And then the priest told us, and then the government said you can't have more than 10 people on the compound. And we're going, what? People live like 15 people live in a shack over here. You know what I mean? Like, how could they? So I don't know. It's just, it is frustrating because people come to the door, they're hungry. So we give them food. They need medical assistance. We do the best we can with that. We're trying every precaution. We've made masks. We have like a bucket of Clorox and water, and they wash their hands, but I don't know. My heart aches, you know?
Yeah. Yeah.
That's the story. So, well, anyway, let me meet who everybody is. I know Kate because I talked to her while she was walking when she was exercising, right? And I called her and she was outside. Okay. Jerry, where are you in Barnegat too?
Well, I actually live in Tuckerton, but I'm a member of St. Mary's.
Oh, okay. All right. Great. Well, nice to meet you.
You too.
Yeah. Wow. Are you like going to the beach already and stuff like that?
I've been there a couple of times, but truthfully, it's a little bit too crowded right now on the weekends.
Yeah. And you want to be careful, right?
Oh, yes.
Yeah, I hear you, girlfriend. You got to be careful. I know it. That's how I feel here. You know, it's like we go to the store, we look like mummies for crying out loud. You know, I mean, covered from head to toe. And then, you know, oh my God. And then Richard, you're in Barnegat too?
I'm in Manahawkin.
Manahawkin.
Yeah, it's
Okay.
right next town over.
Okay. And you're a member too of St. Mary's?
Yes.
Super.
Yes.
Okay. Nice to meet you. You have a very nice house, what I see of it.
Thank you.
Yeah. Yeah, I know there's an etiquette how to be on Zoom. And I said, oh my God, what kind of etiquette can I have? Hey, how you doing? Your wife looks like a dog. Oh no, your wife is there. I see. Just kidding. Oh, how cute. Very nice. Okay. And then Jessica, where are you? You're eating
I'm
your
in
dinner.
Virginia.
Okay. So I get the prize for being the farthest.
Yeah. Yeah, you win.
All right. So what do you guys meet every Tuesday night? Is this what you all do?
Yeah, we do. So we've had, I think this is probably the 9th or 10th we've done like this. And these are called F.U.E.L nights. So it's faith used in everyday life. And I've just invited people to come on and speak about different parts of the faith and kind of just offer people hope during this time. So yeah, it's been good.
Super. Okay.
It's a pretty quiet night on here tonight, but
that's okay.
Colleen doesn't feel well.
Yeah. I told everybody to keep it calm.
That's it.
Yeah.
But you know, it's actually really cool because now, you know, you can kind of interact with people one-on-one and it's very different, you know.
Yeah, you're right. Where in Virginia, Jessica, are you?
In Manassas.
Manassas. No.
So by Quantico.
What diocese is that?
Arlington.
Arlington
trick
diocese.
question.
Okay.
Yes, I'm Catholic.
No. Yeah, no. I was just trying to get my bearings where you might be.
Oh.
You know. Yeah, like where that might be.
So
but,
it's like 30 miles south of Washington, D.C.
Oh, okay. Okay, yeah, wow. It's hopping down there too. It's hopping everywhere right now. God. Holy moly. Well, we're praying. You know, since we've been this whole thing here in Haiti for us started in March, okay, where all of a sudden they closed the church. They closed the churches. No church, no school. Now, these kids have not had school in the beginning of the year because we had political riots, okay? We had kidnappings, political riots everywhere because the president wasn't, you know, helping the people, and he promised they'd have electricity, and we still don't have electricity. All right, all this kind of stuff. So they don't have school. They had school maybe 2 months in the fall. Then they go back to school in January, and then they're out of school from March until now. Okay, so they told us you could only have 10 people gathered. Okay, that was the first thing. Now, March, we go all through Lent, we go through Easter, we go through, and now I'm telling you, church is like the main thing. This is how they You know, like you guys have internet, you guys have email. Okay, this is the only way people communicate. You go to church, you learn what time it is. Okay, I mean that's how it is. So they now tell us now the churches will be closed because of this pandemic called the coronavirus, COVID-19. They're teaching the people all about this. You have to wash your hands. Then they send everybody home. We haven't been in church since. Now, you guys have, what do they call that? Live? Wait, on the Facebook, you could watch Mass, right?
Yeah,
On
live
the Facebook.
streaming, yeah.
There you go, live streaming. Okay. Well, they don't have like, I'm here with an iPad. They don't have this. However, we live like right next to our cathedral. If you went out that door there, our cathedral is, well, it's not a cathedral. It's like a big community center. It was built by Miami Diocese after the earthquake because our cathedral, after the earthquake came down. So they announced that you can't have anything, but they were going to live stream the masses. Well, that's fine and good for those that have like phones that they have the capacity, but most of the people don't have anything like that. So there hasn't been anything religious, anything. The other day we had Corpus Christi. We celebrated Thursday. The priest came. We asked him to walk around everywhere to bless, you know, the four corners of the earth so that at least there'd be a Eucharistic blessing in the country. We opened up the gate and he blessed everything, but there hasn't been anything. So it's just been really, I keep asking the Lord, what do you want? What do you want? You know, and every reading I get, believe it or not, is time to repent, time to believe in the good news, time to repent, get your act together, you know, just unbelievable. But thank God we have adoration every day. Thank God. You know, it's just been unreal. But maybe you guys do you want to hear like how we got here? Do you want to hear the story about here? What would you like to do? Have tea?
Yeah. So I do have one question for you before you start. Have you been a sister for 44 years or 45 years?
Oh, Jesus. Let's see. I entered the community in 1975. So would it be 44, 45?
45, depending, well, what month did you, I need, like now this is getting technical.
August. I entered in August.
Okay, so it'll be 45 in August.
Yeah.
I was trying to figure it out from your bio because it was from 2 years ago. So I was like, oh, I don't know.
Yeah. So
you're coming up on 45 years. That's really cool. That's beautiful.
Can you imagine? I mean, like, what the heck? I know.
Yeah, that's
but you know what? This life keeps you young. Yeah, like this life keeps you young. That's for sure. You know, but we do exercise every day. In fact, we just finished exercising. And I said, I can't come tonight. I have to go on FaceTime. And they went, what? Yeah. So, 45, I guess, as a Felician sister. Felician Sisters are Franciscans. We're third order Franciscans. We wear beige or white when we're in missions. I usually wear a black veil. Carly knows I wear a brown habit usually. I wear a brown habit with our crucifix, okay? Today I don't have a collar on because it's too blasted hot. Go to Mass and stuff, we wear like a scapular, like very formal, you know? So, so 7 years ago, 10 years ago, 11 years now, there was this terrible earthquake here, if you remember. They had an earthquake and it devastated the country, and the Felician Sisters wanted to respond to that need. They asked for volunteers, and so at first when the earthquake started, they only wanted medical teams, but then they asked for volunteers in the summer to go and be a presence in Port-au-Prince to people because they had nothing. And I volunteered. Now, when I got here that July, I was devastated because They were all living in tents, living on the highways, on the streets. People were walking around naked, totally out of it. They were living. Tents were given by France, USAID. Well, it was AID from France, and you know, it was just unbelievable. And where we stayed was a home that happened to be engineered and built by a Haitian who was from the United States. So the building just had cracks, did not get totally demolished because the infrastructure in the country was very bad. So basically, when that earthquake struck, which was only 7.8, it affected every single building in the country. Like even when you go downtown Jacmel right now, you still see buildings that are never been touched. And look how many years it's been since that earthquake. So when we got here, I was with 3 other sisters. One sister was asked to come by our provincial superior to look to see how they could help education, like people who were in the university, like how could they have online, because the Felicians in North America have 3 colleges or universities. Okay, how could we help them that way? After that, she kind of made some connections with people, and then I went with a group to a camp. They had deaf people, and the deaf people were all they were in like a gated place, but it was like just a wire, like barbed wire. And I said, why are they like held like captive? And they told me because when the earthquake happened, everybody started to loot and steal from everybody else. And when people would sleep at night outside because they were afraid to be in a building, they were being raped, molested, and robbed because they couldn't hear. Their children could hear, but they couldn't hear. They were deaf and mute. So we started to work with them, and for 2 weeks I was with them. But I remember one night, and you know, you've read in the gospel the story of the multiplication of the loaves and fishes, and you've got Matthew's version, you've got Luke's version. And I was reading Luke's version of the multiplication of the loaves and fishes, and I was meditating, and I kept saying to the Lord, what the heck am I doing here? What was I thinking coming here? What can I possibly do here? There's nothing I can do here. I mean, I'm a nurse wannabe, okay? I'm a nurse wannabe. I worked in the Archdiocese of Newark with youth and young adult ministries. So I wasn't into the medical field. I'm a musician, so like, what was I really going to do for these people? And I'm reading this passage on the multiplication of the loaves and fishes, and I hear as clear as day, feed them yourself. Just feed them yourself. And I said, Lord, all I have is like a guitar with me. What do you think I'm going to feed them yourself? And that's when this whole idea, oh, you want to meet my cat, our cat? Come here, Angelica. Come here. She's coming over here to meet you guys. Hold on. Angelica, can you see her? No, you probably can't. Angelica.
Oh, there she is.
You know, and that's when this whole idea of a ministry of presence started to emerge. And I started to talk about this to the other sisters. I said, you know, these people need hope. They need a presence of a person, that a people that can at least give them hope that someone loves them and cares. We would go every day. We would visit people, and I knew a little bit of French. You know, I didn't know much French, but they speak Creole. Creole is the language of the poor here, not French. French is the language of the wealthy people, which is only 20% of this population. So, you know, we were playing with the kids. The kids had been in school. They knew a little bit of English. And I'm sitting with these kids. I had a guitar. They were teaching us songs. We were teaching them little songs like This Light of Mine, or, you know, Kumbaya, right? And they're singing songs to us. And they said, one little girl in little broken English says, Are you going to love us and leave us too? Well, I thought, oh God, what are you telling me? So I come back after 2 weeks. I didn't want to leave. You know, in the summertime, it's very hot here. And I mean, people just walk the streets because they're so tired. They're so, and right now I feel a breeze, so I'm thanking Jesus for it. Thank you. And so I came back and I went back to my job, was working in the Archdiocese, and I came back to my job. And of course, my heart was here with these people that I saw devastated and hungry and poor and no clothes and no food, no medication. And like, what could we do? And I went to go see my provincial superior. And I said to her, you know, you go on a mission and you go for yourself because you want to feel good you did something, right? I did something. But guess what? These people did more for me than I could do for them in those 2 weeks. Like, I could not believe how I flick the light on for a light. They don't have electricity. I could go to the bathroom and flush a toilet. They don't have toilets. They have no sewage system, no running water. Okay? I could go and buy something to eat, something to drink someplace. They don't have places like that to go buy something because they don't have money to do it. And I said to myself, oh my God, what the heck? What are you doing? And so I said to my provincial, you know, how do we go to these people and now leave them? And she said, you want to go back? And I went, yes. She said, you want to go back? When? January? Now, this was September. I have a full-time job. She says, well, you know, what do you hear in your heart? And I said, I really think we're to be about a presence to people there. This idea of the art of accompaniment. And that's when I started to read. Pope Francis was, after we had been here maybe a year or two, but he was talking about the art of accompaniment, of walking with people in solidarity. And, you know, we didn't want to come here and just give things away. We didn't want to come here and give money, just give money. We wanted to come here and be in relationships. So the first 2 of us came. We were sent by twos, like the gospel. We were sent by twos with only one habit. You know, it was kind of like that whole idea of just going with only one habit, one pair of shoes. Of course, I brought my guitar. And all of our prayer books were put on the iPad, so we didn't have to have books with us. So 2 years after that, after discerning that and really seeing what this empowerment would be all about, we were invited to come to the Diocese of Jacmel. And that's where we are now, in the Diocese of Jacmel. And the bishop, you know, we talked about new evangelizing with the gospel, you know, being a presence for the people. We had to learn the language. We learned Creole, and that took us about 6 months to learn so that we could communicate. But you know where we really learned? From the kids. The kids teach you, you know. It was like, yeah, sure, we learned how to write and read, and I learned how to do numbers and count. But the kids really teach you all about, you know, the language. And when we moved, the bishop had it was a school that was ruined by the earthquake, but they rebuilt it. But they were only using it for the grammar school on the downstairs, and he gave us a second floor room. So we lived on the second floor, and it was kind of like living outside. We had to share a bedroom because there was only one, and we had a little room for a chapel, and that's where it all really began. And 4 boys came to our door. In fact, one of the boys who lives with us now, he's not a boy anymore. He's like, you know, works here, and we send him to school. Now he wants to be a priest. Here's our little girl. Let me show you our little girl before we continue. Here's our little Angelica. Say hi. Say hi. Say hi. She's Haitian. Okay, you want to go? Okay. And so the boys came, and he was one of the boys. They knocked on the door. They were like at the time only, I think he was maybe only 7 because he's 17 now. No, he was only, we've been here going on 8 years. So he must, I think probably was 10 maybe. And they said, "Mwe guangu," I'm hungry. And we knew what that meant. And so all we had to eat at that time was granola bars, because even we didn't have much to eat at that time either, because, the money and the cooking, rice and beans and what they had. So we gave them some granola bars, and Sister Inga, the sister that I'm with now, she says, "Do you want to learn English to them?" Oh, yeah. We had one little tiny computer, and somebody gave us Rosetta Stone English. So we had that on there. They would share going on because they had never been on like a computer. And the 4 boys, then it went to 10 with girls, then it went to 20. And then all of a sudden we ended up with 30 kids. And the 30 kids, they wanted to learn, but many of these kids were on the streets. And we said, something's wrong with this, because our whole mission was to walk the streets, be a ministry of presence, to meet the people, speak with the people. And of course, everybody asks you, I need money, I need this, I have to have a bed, I don't have a bed to sleep on. They were sleeping on boxes, they were living in shacks. I don't have a piece of metal to cover for my roof when it rains. I mean, it was all of these needs and needs and needs. And Inga and I really prayed about it, and we heard the Lord say, we need to empower Haitians to help Haitians, to help themselves. And how do you empower them to help themselves? You've got to get them educated. They were all on the streets. The kids were on the streets. Nobody was going to school because they couldn't pay to go to the national school. You want to know how much it costs to send a kid to school here? You have to have a uniform. You have to have a pair of shoes. They have to wear a pair of underwear. They have to have a book bag. They have to have books. They have to have pencils. They have to have paper. And they didn't have any kind of money with that. They had nothing. But if you teach a kid how to read and write, the kid can learn and take care of themselves, because most of our people couldn't read and write. So we figured, if we can sponsor them to go to school, what could we do to have them pay it forward, pay it back? So the little kids, when we started in our first place we lived, the little kids would clean up, and the little kids would, do different odds and ends. The teenagers would come and say they wanted to go to school. They couldn't go to school. Can you imagine? They want to go. They want to go to school. They want to learn how. They want to have a trade. They want to do something, but they couldn't afford it. So then we had people sponsoring them, but how were the teenagers going to pay it forward? So they started to tutor our little kids. And then we got this whole big program that started throughout the years, where we sponsor a teenager, but they have to do a job here in the mission. The kids were hungry. They didn't have one hot meal a day. There was no food. They were skinny, malnourished. What could we do? So we started a rice and beans, like a food program, and we were giving them a hot meal. We asked some Haitian women if they would want to work. We gave them a job, and they would cook the meal. So we started Mother Angela's Kitchen, because our founders is Mother Mary Angela Truskowska, the founders of the Felician Sisters. During that time, the bishop came to us and said, what we really need? We need mobile clinic. There is no medical care. The hospital is open, it's closed. It's open, it's closed. There's no medical care up in the mountains. And if I could show you, probably it's getting too dark here, but I don't know if you could see, but where my hand is pointing, on the top of probably can't see it, but over the barrier, there's a big mountain. Well, we're surrounded by mountains. So then In the mountain area, they don't have health care. They don't have hospitals. They don't have doctors. They don't have medication. People with diabetes, people with high blood pressure, infectious diseases, sexually transmitted diseases, like AIDS, typhoid, malaria, cholera, dengue fever, they call it chikungunya fever and all this other kind of, they had no attention. And I said, look, I'm not a nurse. Inga can't stand blood, but God opened the door. We started to work with Caritas International, and now we have 2 Haitian doctors, a Haitian nurse, a pharmacist, all Haitian, the driver's Haitian. It's about empowering Haitians to help themselves. And then we go with them. Now we're not, because the virus is so like rampant. They advised us not to go, that they would just go. But, you know, they're going now, and they're supplying everybody with 2 months medication, because next month they'll take their vacation, because we're supposed to have our peak next month, and they really don't want it. We don't want to be spreading the virus to the different villages, you know? So, you know, then this mobile clinic, and then that got so big that we see about 750, 800 patients a month. That's how many people. We go to 28 chapels in the, in the area, in the diocese. And every day they go from Monday through Thursday, and then Friday they have to do a report which goes to the Ministry of Health. Right now in Jacmel, the hospital has been closed this whole time they've had this pandemic. You know why? Because the doctors don't have any kind of protective gear. They have no masks. They have no gloves. There's no ventilators here. There's no ventilators. There's 30 ventilators in the whole country. 30. 3 weeks ago, I wrote to USAID in Port-au-Prince, and I wrote to some other organizations, and I said, we have this mobile clinic. We work under Caritas International. We send our reports to the Ministry of Health. We're well known here in the diocese. Everybody knows our clinic. Can you help us? Can you give us some face shields? Can you give us some masks? Can you give us some gowns? USAID wrote to me and said, no, we don't have anything. We can't help you. Now, mind you, a month ago, I heard that $1 million worth of supplies were sent to Port-au-Prince. Now, where are they? Nobody knows. So then he said he can't help us, but what he'll do is he'll ask Carrie's Foundation. Carrie's Foundation called me. They call me up and say, yes, we can give you some gowns and masks. I don't have face shield. I said, okay, I'll come today. I said, where are you coming from? Port-au-Prince. It's 3 hours through the mountains. You're going to come today? He said, yes. So they come here, and I'm thinking they're going to have boxes of gowns and masks in the back of the car. He takes a plastic bag out. He had 8 gowns and 16 paper masks. And I didn't want to act surprised. I didn't want to act like ungrateful. I said, this is, you came all this way? And I said, well, thank you very much. Nothing. And I knew we were in a crisis here. So I called our people in Lodi, New Jersey. And I said, can you send us some face shields? Can you send us some gowns? Can you send us even the thermometer? Because we have the kind of thermometer that goes on our armpit, right? But you're touching people, and we have to be very careful. So I asked them for the info thermometer, where it goes in front of your head and goes beep, and here's your. They sent us that. They sent us face shields, and our sister is Ayasha. We have a third sister here. She's a great seamstress, so she sewed them gowns, 2 each, in 48 hours. So we gave them a bottle of Clorox and said, wash these gowns every day. And they used the face shield. In fact, it's on the blog. We have a blog, so I put it on the blog, like what's been going on. But, so our programs have grown. We have a computer lab. We have like I said, we have this clinic and a pharmacy. I was getting my drugs from Port-au-Prince, and then they had such terrible riots, so I had to stop. I asked the Lord, now where are you going to send me? You got to open another door. He sure did. He opened the door to Dominican Republic. I go to the Dominican Republic. Then 2 months ago, they closed the border. Nobody can get in, nobody can get out in Dominican Republic. Now, thank God, I have medications. United States, I have some doctor friends. They got me medications that we use in our clinic, and it's in these barrels that just arrived today. But we got to get them out of Port-au-Prince. So, you know, it's really been it's been an awesome journey. We have a faith formation program where little kids, their parents want their kids baptized like nobody's baptized, or the poorest of the poor are, because here at the church they have to pay so much money to be baptized. They have to pay money to have a dress to go to the church, because they won't go to church in rags because they're ashamed. So we have this faith formation program. We work with the priest, and we get people to kind of sponsor them for their, or here's another thing. Birth certificate, right? When you're born, you get a birth certificate, right? Not here. You have to pay for it. Woman has a baby, she can't pay for it. So they don't have birth certificates. So we have people that actually think they're from Wildwood. We have people that give money, send us money to purchase birth certificates for our kids. Because if they don't have a birth certificate, they can't go to school. And they don't have them. They're like unknown. They're unknown. So these are like the things that we've been doing over the years in our program. We have an after school program, but of course now with this pandemic, we haven't had it. We have one young lady that's teaching. We were supposed to have, believe it or not, last Friday and Saturday, baptisms and communions here in our activity center. But we couldn't have it because there's no mask. But we have one young girl that she's helping us with the faith formation. She's teaching them in the little village, in the little area that they are in. And so we're giving her lollipops, we're giving her cookies, we're giving her anything we possibly can so these kids have something to eat. Now, if they really are hungry, they do come to us, and we give rice and beans in bags and sacks. And we go out and try to buy that stuff. But talking about the poorest country in the Western Hemisphere, and 80% of this population is living under poverty level. So it's, is there a way out for them? I don't know. And if this virus, there is no way to help people with this virus here. And, the thing would be they'll die. They'll just die, and that will just take out most of the population. So that's kind of been like what our story is here, and what we've been about. We're hoping school will start up in the fall. We're hoping that the kids can go back. We have we're hoping that a bunch of barrels will come down with backpacks and school supplies that people have donated, wanted to give us. So we have like people that help us collect stuff, and then if we do sponsor, we do get somebody to sponsor a child to go to school, then that child, is responsible to come here, responsible to do their homework, responsible to pass. They have to pass, So it's really, I have to honestly say to you all, I've been a religious, as you said, Kate, for like 45 years. I guess it's 45, I don't even know. But you want to know what? I've never lived my religious life like I've lived it now. In poverty, in obedience, and in my chastity. I have never lived it like I live now, So, and the sisters I live with, our prayer life, that's our sustenance, because we have nothing else. And especially and we we share the word of God. And we with really and as I said, 2 other Haitian people that live with us on property, they join us in prayer. So everything's in Creole, so but it's really been like challenge. I really thought first the poverty was a challenge. No, then the hurricanes. And then after the hurricanes, then I thought the violence and the political uprising was a challenge. But the pandemic this has probably been the worst thing, because you can't do anything. You can't go anywhere. You can't, people are, you see some people on the streets, everybody is wearing masks, I have to say. But we've been making thousands of masks because some people don't have the means for a mask or anything like that. So we're trying to keep people who come with needs. We try our best to give them. We just had a young mother. She's only 20 years old, has a little kid. She needed some rice and beans, and we had to give her some rice and beans because she was like really, starving. And then somebody else came with a very sick baby. We got, the doctors to see the baby. So, people know we're like a point of help, like where we are at. The bishop gave us property 3 years ago, and we've been in our new mission here for, this is going on our 2nd year. So we have like an activity center, we have a lab, computer lab. People donated computers, so our kids learn computers. There's just so much that was going on, and within moments it was like boom, stopped. And we can't do any virtual stuff because they don't have this kind of equipment, So we just do our best to see what we can do and try to continue to be a presence. And we know that if we do go back to the States, which they are asking us to go back because they want us to be tested, we know that we have to be quarantined. And like, I'm thinking again, like, oh my God, another 14 days. And if one of us has it, it's 28 days. And then, but as of right now, we all feel pretty good. We all feel fine. One sister had a sore throat, but she's okay now. Another had a sore throat. Would you like to meet John Philippe? Come here. Would you like to meet, this is one of my boys that came to our house. Can you say hello in English?
Hello.
Yeah, they're all from New Jersey. Yeah. He's a big boy now. He was a little boy when he came to us. Qui ça? Il ouvert? Oh. So, it's just been a real challenge. There's a saying, if you teach a person to fish, they'll learn how to fish, and then they can feed themselves. And I think that's pretty much what we've been about. Like, they know here that the rumor around the place everywhere is, if you go and ask the sisters for help, be ready to work, because we always have them work for what they ask for. Because when you give things away, people don't appreciate things. They don't appreciate it. If you just give them an education, they don't have to pay it back anyway, like work or whatever. They don't appreciate it. If sometimes people donate like new t-shirts. We like have an activity where they work for something or they do something and they get rewarded with the t-shirts or whatever. So we learned that we can't just give things away to people. It does not help them at all, of course, there's emergencies. People are sick. People are hungry. They're hungry. We have one lady with 3 little kids, one with a cleft palate. She comes every month, and and her children are so malnourished. But they're living in shacks and they're living in conditions that are just horrible. So that's kind of like what the Felician mission here is all about, and kind of like where we're at during this pandemic, just trying to do our best. And We have some barrels coming out. As I said, I heard they're in Port-au-Prince right now. They got to get them out for us. You know, it has some gowns and has all of our medications in there. So pray that nobody touches them, you know, steals, you know. So we'll continue to do the best we can. Yeah. Does anybody have any questions or anything like that, or any thoughts or comments of?
How can we get stuff to you if we want to donate?
Well, here is the thing. All right. One thing we try to do here is, the first thing is, you know, when people send money, they always want to know what it's used for. And our policy is, if we could help the economy here by buying the books or their school shoes, the material for their uniforms, if we can, you know, stuff like that, donated money, every penny comes to us. It does not go to a secretary. It doesn't go to somebody else. Every single penny comes to the Felician Haiti mission. Every penny. Okay, that's one thing. The other thing is this: when you send barrels, you're talking to send 3 to 4 barrels, about $300 to $500 there to send it. Then it's about $300 to $500 for us to get it out. So that's about $1,000, right? Plus all the stuff we're putting in the barrels, right? Right? Okay. Every once in a while, we have containers. Containers are like, at the end of that, with the containers, it's like almost 10,000. But you're filling a container that's filled with a lot of, you know. So, you know, when people like offer to send things, like clothing, or we always ask people, if you wouldn't wear it, don't send it, because our people have dignity too, you know, like people want to have something that's, you know, because we've had stuff where people gave us stuff and they gave us like really raggedy stuff, right? But people do send barrels, but that's a process in itself. I mean, if somebody wanted to do something with barrels, that's an activity that costs money. But if people's like sponsor a kid to school, get a birth certificate, help with the mobile clinic, the computer thing, you know, our computer lab, that kind of stuff. You know, people have computers, they get a new computer and they say, oh, I don't know what to do with my laptop. Guess what we say? We'll take it. We'll take it. You know, because a laptop is gold. A laptop is a future for someone here. Do you see what I'm saying? They don't have electricity to charge it, so they come here because we invested when we were like looking at how we should do this. We live in Haiti, so what we wanted to do was get solar energy. So we have solar panels, and we just got money, and we just installed around March. It was right before everything closed down. More panels, solar panels, to have a sewing school, to teach women how to sew the uniforms for schools, sew clothing, repair clothes, so they have jobs.
Nice.
But with sewing machines, you need electricity, right? But in the containers, we had sewing machines set down here. But we also found, have you heard of those treadle mills or treadle that you do with your feet and you can sew? It's an old fashioned thing. Well, some people still have that. We have one of those. And then I think a bunch of us, our sisters in Michigan, are sending us somehow. I don't know how yet, but they want to send a little cat, you know. So, but the only, like, we do get FedEx, because I did have those shields sent FedEx, but it was a lot. It cost them a lot. I know it did, because it was a box, and I know it cost a lot, but we got it. But we have to go to Port-au-Prince for it, you know. So
Now, if I'm sorry, but if people sent money, could you buy computers there, or would you prefer computers being sent from here?
What we would do is we would get the computer from you, and then we would bring it when we go back. We come back and forth.
Oh,
Or
So-
we're going to try this next. We're going to try to put 1 or 2 in the barrels to see if it gets, that it would get here. We haven't had trouble with our barrels. We haven't, but I don't want to have trouble either.
So how would be the best way to send a computer there then?
What we would probably do is, I'll tell you, our community asked us, because everything's going to be at a peak here in July, we have to go back in July. So I will be in New Jersey in July. And we would carry them back in our suitcases, carry them with us. There's been a time where 3 of us came back and we carried 3, 4 computers in our suitcase.
Okay.
And
Now,
we got them back that way.
are Chromebooks is good for you there, or just computers?
You know what? Chromebooks are pretty good, because we have a guy, he's a pilot for JetBlue, and JetBlue gave us 2 computers, and he helped install them, and he talked about Chromebooks, because we have a program called Khan Academy. Have you heard of it?
Yeah.
Khan Academy.
Yeah.
We use Khan Academy with our kids to learn, and it's all in French, so that they learn, can learn even more, So yeah, the Chromebooks are good too. Yes.
Sister, if we just
Go ahead.
Sister, if we just wanted to donate funds then, which seems like it might be an easier thing for you to utilize, how could we do that? What avenues would we do to?
Okay, what I'll do is I will send to Kate the information, okay, the link, and you can go on even a link. They have a PayPal on our community website. There's a whole section for Haiti, okay? And you can do it that way, and it gives you the information that way. Or I can send you the address, and you have to, when you write a check out, it has to say in the memo, Felician, Haiti Mission. The check gets written out to Felician Sisters of North America, but in the memo, Haiti Mission. And if it says Haiti Mission, it comes directly to our account, and we have an account here.
Okay, that's perfect.
We have a bank account. It goes to Beaver Falls, but they send the money directly to the account here.
That's beautiful.
I'm not talking loud because we have neighbors, and I know they hear everything, but I don't know if they know English. But so that, and every penny, and I can, as God is my witness, every penny comes to here and goes to food, goes to school, goes to clothing, goes to medications, goes to and the other thing is, if this ever does finish and people can travel again, we have a volunteer house that we built on this mission property, a volunteer house, 14, 15 people to stay here.
Oh, wow.
And to work with our children, to work with our people, to work with our clinic. But now that we had first political unrest and now a pandemic, thinking, what were you thinking, God? Tell us what you're thinking so we know what's going on. You know what I mean? Oh my God. I mean, I think we've had maybe 100-something people pass through this volunteer house, but nothing. We thought it was going to be we even have a gal that helps us with volunteers, she had all these volunteers, but now can't do it. So, but I know God has something in store, and I know he hears the cry of the poor. I know he does. So, yeah. Any other questions? Maybe I forgot to say something as the mosquitoes eating me here. Yeah. Any thing else, or something that maybe I don't know, whatever.
No.
Sister,
But
do you
it's-
think maybe you could pray with us all just really,
Oh,
you know,
yeah.
I mean, we have so much here, even to hear your
Mhm.
story and to hear,
Mhm.
we think we're struggling through this pandemic because
Mhm.
we can't get into church
Mhm.
or I can't go to
Mhm.
Walmart
Mhm.
when I feel like it. And to hear you
Mhm.
and to share what you and the people there are going through. Maybe there's a reason why there's a very small group tonight, and maybe we're supposed to start the fire. This is the fuel for us to kind of reach out to people,
Mhm.
and maybe we're called to
Yeah.
help a lot more than we are, so that we can take
You
the
know,
focus off of us.
you know what I could do too is I could ask. Wait, hold on. The cat keeps. I can ask. Our there's a woman in Beaver Falls. I know she does like this for the whole community development for the community. We have a video. She can send you a video. Kate,
That was
she can
wonderful.
send you a video. And the video is of our mission work, right? Now, of course, our mission house is done, but you know, you'll see how it was being built, okay? And you'll see all of our, and meet our children and listen to some people, okay? But, you know, yeah, you're right. Maybe it is a small group because you're the ones that are now to, you know, go out to all the nations and proclaim the good news. But yes, I would love to pray
share
with
that
you.
to the confirmation students, that
Mhm.
video.
Oh, absolutely. Absolutely. I can do that. Yep, I can do that. I can, with Kate, what I could do, I'll make sure it gets sent to Kate and Kate can distribute it. You know, you can even, I think she has it on like a flash drive, which makes it even easier to pass around. You know, I don't think we can send it through the internet because it's big. You know, it's like a little movie, you know?
Yeah. Okay.
Okay. All right. How about if I go walk by our Blessed Mother statue? That was made by Haitians. Everything on our property was made by our Haitian people. It was wonderful. You know, I felt like a Mormon or like, you know, those Amish people where they come and build everything. Right? I know. But here's our Mary. She should be lit up a little better, but she's, wait, let me see. Oh, there she is. There's Mary. Yeah, she's right there. We have these little lights, but one isn't working. You know, solar lights, you know, you buy solar lights. But how about if we come before Our Lady and we just take a few moments to drink in everything that, you know, we heard tonight. And I welcome you to Jacmel. I welcome you here to our home here in Jacmel. I welcome you to a country that struggles, but the people are so beautiful. They're so loving. They're hurting people, but they live by God's providence. Because never, ever, when something goes wrong, they just say, we'll get through this. We'll get through this. We'll get through this. So as we come before, we are before God in his beauty, but as we come before Our Lady, and I have a great devotion to Our Lady of Untier of Knots. I have a great devotion to her, and I ask that she would intercede for all of us in our situations, to untie those knots that are choking some of us, or keeping us bound because there's something tying us together. That she unties those knots, maybe of illness and sickness, or Colleen, that she'll just untie whatever tied in your back, just untie it and just let you feel that healing, feel her mantle wrap around you. Oh, Jesus. You said that wherever 2 or 3 are gathered in your name, there you are in their midst. And we believe you are in our midst. Wherever we are, from New Jersey to Virginia to Haiti, we believe you are here. We believe that you are in the middle of us. Jesus, sometimes we don't understand what's going on, and we don't quite get it. We don't even know how to turn the other cheek. We don't know how to be perfect like your Father is perfect. But you want to teach us. And every single lived reality and experience teaches us who we are to be and what we are to do in proclaiming the kingdom of God. You inspired your apostles to go to all the nations and proclaim the good news to the ends of the earth. Well, here we are, Lord. Here we are at the ends of the earth. I'm on the Caribbean Sea. They're in the Atlantic Ocean. But here we are, the ends of the earth. And we're proclaiming that you are Lord. And we know that each and every one of us is a missionary in our hearts. We're called to be missionaries. We're called to proclaim your good news. We're called to love one another. We're called to reach out and to do something beautiful for God. So help us tonight. We bring this to you, Jesus, and we ask your Mother Mary, intercessor, Our Lady of Hope, Our Lady of Good Counsel, Our Lady Entire of Knots, Saint Mary, all of the Marys that we know by name, we ask you to intercede for us. Untie the knots that we have right now, especially with this pandemic, especially with all of these protests going on, especially with people who feel that they're not respected or cared for. We just bring this all to you. And I ask you, Jesus, with your Mother Mary, to open our hearts. Open our hearts to what it is we're supposed to do for you and for God's people. Help us to know that way. Keep us strong on this journey. As these days continue and these months challenge us to look at what a new normal might be, help us not to be afraid of that new normal, but to know that every way, every walk, every touch, every breath, everything we do is for Jesus, your greater honor and glory. And Mary, for you to be honored and to intercede for us at this moment in time and for your people. And I ask you, Jesus, please protect our mobile clinic people. Please protect them from this virus. Please don't let them get it. Please don't let them spread it. Please don't let them bring it here. Please. I just beg you at this moment. And I beg you, all the children tonight we know that are living in shacks and have no electricity, don't have any running water or toilets, and are using a bucket of water just to wash their bodies. I beg you to protect them. And if they're hungry, bring them to our door tomorrow. Bring them to our door. Bring them to us. And we'll take care of them for you. Use us. Use us, Jesus. Use us where we're at. And help us continue to glorify you in all that we are and all that we do. And with that, I ask the people of God for an amen.
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 Okay, well, that took a half hour. Oh. Well, thank you so much for letting me join you in this wonderful experience tonight. As I walk through the trees here, hold on, yeah. So thank you all very, very much for having me.
Thank you.
I will make sure that Kate gets a copy of this video. I'll make sure she sends it to you on a flash drive. Then you could share it on flash drives.
Yeah.
Okay? And the information, is there and everything. And, and if you ever have like teenagers again or a big group again or whatever, I could try to bring my guitar out and I'll play for you.
Okay.
Okay, I'm coming, even though I'm old, I'm coming.
Thank you,
You think
sister.
you're old, baby. I'm really getting up there. God almighty, I never had so much gray hair till like you. Holy moly. I mean, I used to say I saw God and turn this way, but I don't know who I saw after this. Holy moly. Yeah. But listen, you all stay well, and thank you for being part of this day. And Dan Donlon, I don't think I got to meet your family there.
Oh, we're all here.
How are you?
Great.
Okay.
This is my wife Danielle. It's my mom Ann.
Okay, Mom. Hey, great.
5 other children.
Wow. All up there. And then Jackie Carlson. Hi, Jackie. Nice to meet you.
Pleasure.
And Jessica, I saw you. And Richard. Okay. Super duper. Okay. Well, listen, you all take care. And listen, you guys have to thank God we had internet without it dropping.
No interruptions.
This was a miracle. This never happens here. Never. But I sat outside and they have a little antenna on the roof here, like a little antenna. And I said, if I stand like direct and I had a nice, wow, I have internet. So this was a miracle. A miracle. Yeah. So listen, take care, everybody. And thank you again for having me. Yeah, say a prayer for us, okay? Just pray for us, just, that all will be well and that if we're supposed to get back, we can get back and none of us has the virus. Just because that's another thing. We had to put our names in the embassy because they have to, they do it first come, first serve. It's like crazy because nobody was getting out of the country.
It's got to be complicated.
It gets real complicated. Yeah. But I have to say I love it. I really do. I really love it here. I love our people. Yeah. Okay. So peace be with you all. Okay.
Thank you, Sister Marilyn.
Okay. All right. Bye bye.
Yeah.
I'll be in touch, Kate. Okay.
Okay.
Bye, guys.
Okay. Okay. Peace.
Thank you.